Hi, Democrats. Today it's Friday, March 18th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Friday. So today I'm going to hit you with some numbers, mostly about March. March is the acknowledgement of Women's History Month, and so I've been doing a lot of research, and I like to hit you with new things because there are a lot of things about women's history that we talk about over and over again, which we need to acknowledge. But when we only talk about three or four things, we act like those are the only things that women have accomplished. And so I want to talk about some important things. For those of you who know me, you know that I care about a lot of things, criminal justice reform, that no matter your zip code, that there is a good, well-funded school for your kids to go to. I want my fellow Oklahomans to be able to have access to affordable health care, not have to drive an hour and a half. I'm going to throw in broadband because it's a big deal to me too. Nearly a fourth of Oklahomans don't have access to reliable, affordable broadband. Y'all know I care about that. But if you really know me, you know the thing that I care about the most is the right to vote. And last week when I was in DC and the vice president spoke, she said something that we all know, but bears repeating, that all of our rights stem from the right to vote. So we can talk about schools, but it's all about voting in the right legislators. We can talk about hospitals, and it's about voting in the right legislators. But it is about voting. It is absolutely about voting, which is why in March, in addition to it being Women's History Month, we're launching the Vote And, because all of our rights, everything that we do, voting needs to be centered. So when I talk about demonstrating, there are folks who think that in my role, that I think that this is the only way. But I say all the time that protests are the magnifying glass and the megaphone that highlights the things that need change in our society. And so we need protests, but you have to vote and protest. Protesting isn't enough. You have to change the law for whatever it is that we're fussing about. There's a law attached to it. So we have to change the law. So you have to vote and protest. And some of the times we're protesting about things and we don't know all the details. And so we have to vote and educate folks. And so today I want to highlight that the Wyoming Territory, not even a state, Wyoming Territory was the first body that allowed women the right to vote. We care about voting, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Um, um, Women make up 57.8% of the labor force. And as I talked about yesterday, um, women suffer a huge gender wage gap. And so it seems unfair that we make up more than half of the workforce, but it takes white women 15 months to make the same amount that a white man makes in 12 months. And it takes women of color even longer than that 15 months to make up the same. Women make up 57.8% of the labor force. Women only make up, now we make up more than 50% of the population as a whole, but we only make up 27% of Congress. Something seems unbalanced, right? We only make up 27% of Congress. That seems unbalanced. How about this? We make up 27% of Congress. It takes us 15 months to make as much money as men, yet women earn more degrees than men. Our system's rigged. It's kind of crazy. But then here's another one. Women make up 14% of active duty military. And so we always talk about servicemen. I like to talk about servicemen and women because women make up 14% of active duty military, which is a thing that's happened just in my lifetime, that women have been able to be on the front lines during war times. So it's just a lot of stuff that I'm concerned about how much money women make. I'm concerned about our representation in Congress. And to that end, I'm concerned about who we're running for Congress and if we're supporting the folks who are running, who we're running for Senate, and if we're supporting those who are running. I'm going to shift a little bit and just remind you guys that we need candidates that you can support. It's Women's History Month, but that does not mean I'm discriminating against male candidates. So I had to shift it away from women for a little bit and talk about just the candidates. Help me find a candidate that you can support. We have 28 days until April 15th, which is the final day of candidate filing in the state of Oklahoma. We have 28 days. So we have less than a month to find candidates for lieutenant governor, insurance commissioner, labor commissioner, attorney general, for Pete's sakes. Help me find a candidate that, maybe you guys, because I'm telling you, I've spent the last 3 days doing almost nothing, exclusively working the phones, trying to talk to people, and see if they're ready to run for office. I need your help. I don't know everybody over the state. If you know somebody, even if you're afraid to approach them, if you know them and you think they might be good, I'll call them and ask them. But let me know. Um, we have 28 days, which means we have 235 days until November's election. It is happening. It is happening. So, a lot of our House candidates are settled. Find out who's running for state house in your district and support their candidacy. Drive them around and help them knock doors for them, donate, share their social media, make sure that the word is getting out about their candidacy, because we have 258 days to get into the hearts and minds of the masses. We've got to get presidential year turnout this November. We can't just settle for normal turnout, because folks don't turn out that much during midterms. And that's how Democrats lose. All over the nation, they're predicting that Democrats are going to lose because it's a midterm. And that's kind of what happens. Who's ever in the presidential, who's ever the president, the Congress swings the other way. But just because that's history doesn't mean it has to be that. We have 258 days to change this prediction, to make it so that, wouldn't it be great if Oklahoma could once again send someone to Congress? Wouldn't it be great if we could send more than one person to Congress? And by that, I mean both chambers, Congress and Senate. We have 2 Senate seats on the ballot and 5 congressional seats on the ballot. um, that's 7 opportunities to change the congressional makeup of Oklahoma. It's not going to happen by magic. It's only going to happen. Hi, Mary. It's only going to happen if we do direct action. And that is, pick a candidate that you can support and then support them through your actions, your money, your time. Volunteer for them, donate for them, make sure people know about them, and then donate again, and then volunteer again. We have 258 days. Wouldn't it be great if Oklahoma had some legislators who remembered that they were supposed to represent all of Oklahoma and not just special interests? Because all seven of our congressional representatives um, are representing the fringe parts of the Republican Party, not just the Republican Party. We need somebody in DC representing us who remembers that Oklahoma is a full state, that there's a full state, and that we need to focus on the entire state and not just, the little certain parts that they are in touch with. And I assure you that there are some kooks running on the other side. Kooks. Um, we can't let them prevail. We can't have folks in DC thinking that the only thing in Oklahoma are kooks. Alrighty, help me elect a non-kooky delegation, a non-kooky delegation, um, by helping me find candidates that you could support. All right, thanks for joining me. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll be back on Monday at 4:15.